Rand Paul has unveiled $500 billion in cuts. Now, this goes back a ways. First, we heard from Rand Paul insane ideas like eliminating the Department of Education. We heard he wasn't going to vote for any earmarks. Of course, he went back on that and said, well, if everyone else is taking the earmarks, I guess I might as well do it too. So now Rand Paul has introduced legislation that wants to cut $500 billion from government spending in a year. How could he possibly do that? Well, here's the proposal. He wants to wipe out 3 cabinet departments and the entire foreign aid budget. He will spare neither the Pentagon nor 2011 war-related funding for overseas military operations. Also included in this, he wants to combine the Energy Department with the Department of Defense. He wants to wipe out most of the Education Department. Department of Housing and Urban Development, that's gone, along with 7 other independent agencies, including Consumer Product Safety Commission. We don't need that. Companies will make products safe even if we have no oversight. We don't have to worry about that. And the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. What has public broadcasting ever done for anyone? All we need is for-profit stuff like Fox News. And National Endowments for Humanities and Arts because, let's face it, those aren't worth much to him either, apparently. We don't need any of that stuff. The one indicator as to how absurd this entire thing is the following. Moira Bagley, who is Rand Paul's communication director, released a statement indicating that the proposal isn't satire. If there's any red flag, Lewis, it's when a senator staffer has to clarify whether proposals are satire or not, right? I mean, is that not an indicator that we should be concerned about what's going on here?
That's ridiculous.
Either imagine if after the State of the Union address, David Axelrod gives a press conference saying, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you that the State of the Union address was not satire. The president really meant every word. We would question it. It would make us question it. And that's exactly what we're doing. Not that we needed even more incentive to question anything Rand Paul does after saying, here are some cuts we can make. Either way, it is de facto satire because none of these things are going to happen. The most controversial thing in it is the proposed $16 billion reduction for overseas contingency funds provided for the military for the current fiscal year. Hey, at least he's talking about cutting the military budget in a significant way.
But nothing about entitlements here?
I don't know that there is in this. Well, some people would argue that some of these things are entitlements. We're opening up a can of worms there.
Yeah, okay.
Speaking of cutting costs, by the way, more U.S. service members committed suicide in 2010 than died in combat. 462 died in combat, 468 committed suicide. Remember John McCain, he didn't like the idea of that suicide prevention bill? Well, it turns out maybe the place to cut costs isn't soldiers' health care and well-being. Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's close. I hate coming back to it all the time. Maybe we just need 40 bases instead of 50 in Germany. But do you think with 40 we would really be at risk? Maybe 41. Okay, fine. 41 and we'll be safe. Let's close 9 of them.
Agreed.
No. Let's make it so that...
Germany's not the only place we need to do that.
No, I just used that example because of the staggering number. So maybe, meanwhile, by the way, Michelle Bachmann also calling for cuts to veterans' benefits. On Thursday, we're going to talk about Michelle Bachmann now dressing and looking like Sarah Palin and going to Iowa. She's ramping up her presidential campaign. Just bear in mind, she also wants to get in on the action. Let's cut veterans' benefits. Let's take a break. DavidPakman.com. Make sure you are getting the bonus show. We will hear from Lewis today about police interrogations, his potential TSA pat-down. The list is mounting. It really is.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.